Hello, my fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 104 of The Best Blessed Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is pound cake into something new, and when all else fails, Bundt. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for watching. Please continue to watch, comment, share, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please pass them on to anyone you think that they could help. With that being said, here's our list of things to do today. Of course, we have our daily inspirations. And then we have a new segment called Let's Book It. Then, of course, we're doing pound cake on steroids. And as a friendly reminder, we're doing every recipe in front of you for the very first time. Me. I'm sure hundreds of thousands of other people have made this recipe, but I have not. I tried to think back in my repertoire of things I've made, not just on the show, but in my life as a baker. And I cannot even think of a time that I made a pound cake. And as a family, I think we're pretty partial to pound cake. So this is one of the ones I wanted to kind of tackle. But I kind of wanted to tackle it in a little bit healthier way. So we're doing a Greek yogurt pound cake. And I'll get to the recipe in a minute. I want to do the daily inspirations. And I'm going to go over what the Let's Book It segment is when I'm done reading the inspirations. I do have them all written down, but I had no space on my counter to put the book. So I just decided to wing it off my phone. All right, so we're starting with July 20th. It is, we are all searching for some form of family or foundation, for a place we can feel safe and secure. Jenna Malone. A smile is happiness you'll find right under your nose. Tom Wilson. A warm smile is the universal language of kindness. William Arthur Ward. The 23rd, a smile is a curve that sets everything straight. Phyllis Diller. The 24th, be thou the rainbow in the storms of life, the evening beam that smiles the clouds away and tints tomorrow with prophetic ray. Lord Byron. The 25th, a kind heart is a foundation of gladness, making everything in its vicinity freshen in smiles. William Irving. And today, I have witnessed the softening of the hardest of hearts by a simple smile. Goldie Hawn. All right. So we're making pound cake today, but the other segment we're doing today is Let's Book It. And the reason I'm doing that is because, I don't know, you guys are probably going to find me a little crazy, but I read to my dog. And the reason I read to my dog is it gives me a good excuse to break open a book other than just to read to myself. And I feel like, I read to my children when they were little. Why not read to my dog? I think he likes it sometimes. He even comes up to the book and points at it with his nose, like he's really excited to get started with the next chapter. But there was something about this book that kind of made me go, I really kind of want to delve deeper into it. And this is not the first one I read to him. The other one I read was Blue Bonnet Battle by Caroline Brown. It was a very cute book. It brought me to some, little weepiness. But this one, full on, just bawling in tears. And I'm going to go over it with you in a little bit. I kind of want to keep the title under wraps, so you might be able to see it from there. I'm blind, so I can't really tell. Okay, so the recipe. And I have to put my spin on it. So there are going to be not just substitutions, but an add-in as well. So the Greek, and I just wrote it in solid ink because I forgot to write it down. So it goes as follows. 3 cups of cake flour, and the substitution for that is combining regular flour and taking out 2 tablespoons of it and then putting 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in as a replacement. So I did that. And then a half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt, room temp, half cup butter softened, 3 cups of granulated sugar. My substitution is 2 cups granulated sugar, and 1 cup of honey, 4 eggs, and a half teaspoon of vanilla, a half teaspoon of almond. Preheat to 325. Spray and flour your Bundt pan. In bowl, whisk flour, salt, and baking soda. Set aside. In a large bowl, beat yogurt, butter, and sugar together until well combined. Beat in eggs one at a time. Stir in extracts. Add flour mix to your wet, excuse me, and stir till just combined. Pour batter into pan and bake 60 to 80 minutes or until toothpick comes out clean. May need to cover if it gets too brown on the top. Let cool in pan for 10 minutes. And then remove, excuse me, to cool on a wire rack. I'll go a tickling me throat. All right. So as you can see, I'm still corded up. Had it all set to go. Still didn't work. But I know Jordan will help me out. So just bear with me. Now, the steroid part of the pound cake on steroids is we're going to add a cheesecake layer in between. And what I was thinking was I was going to pour half the batter in of the pound cake mix, and then I thought I'd pour in the cheesecake, and then I can't determine if I would then pour the other on top and then kind of squiggle it through, or do I want to leave it in a thin layer so that you can distinguish that there is some sort of cheesecake layer. I don't think it'll be very thick, so I'm not really worried about it, but just thought I'd open that up and share that with you, what I was thinking. You like my fancy lighted sign? Isn't that cool? All right, so I had a surprise. I thought I was going to be here in time for this episode as well, but it is not. It was close, but it is not. Okay, so I did do that flour mixture I was telling you about. And I pre-mixed in the salt and baking soda as well. So it's all sifted through. So now what we're going to do is just get this dog hair off there. Just sitting on top. Thanks. Thanks, bud. Okay. So this is my 1.5 cups of room temp Greek yogurt. And she said if it does separate, mix it back together. So it has done that. And I want to put it in this other bowl because this is hopefully going to be big enough to hold the flour portion too. So we're mixing the Greek yogurt, the sugars, and the butter together. And I have a feeling I'm going to get a good amount of exercise today because I'm going to be whisking by hand instead of getting a mixer out. I'm trying to save most of it because I hate when I leave that kind of stuff behind. It's like valuable commodity, every little morsel. Okay, so then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this other spoon out of here. Oh my goodness. All I'm doing is proceeding to put the yogurt back on the spoon. Okay, So next we're going to do the sugar. So this is the 2 cups of the Merino sugar. Once again, my bowl was wet. Never disappoints. Okay, let's get this combined with the yogurt real quick here. Okay. All right, now I want to stir in the honey into the yogurt. Or you could use maple syrup, or you could just use all 3 cups of just regular sugar, like they call for. I don't know. I just like to switch it up a little bit. And hope I don't get sticky stuff all over the floor. Okay. So get this combined. Maybe. All right. All right. And then we're going to put in our butter. It's so glossy with the honey in there. This is where I might break out the whisk, just to make sure I don't leave any like lumps or anything. But I'm really going to get a good arm workout when I whisk the cream cheese layer, the cheesecake. And I just came across this cheesecake kind of filling, I guess you'll say, because it's just 3 ingredients, and it's actually, this is the wrong vanilla. It is, what do I want to say? Super duper easy to mix. I mean, you could put it, I guess, in your mixer and get it all blended up nice and easy, but sometimes you just need to get out your pent-up frustrations, But it's just cream cheese, and I use light cream cheese or Nougatel, and then 1 egg and a tablespoon of vanilla. That's it. I'm probably going to need that back, so I'm sorry I put that over there, but so it says beat, but it never says to actually, put it in a mixer. So again, I implore you, make sure you switch arms so you stay even with your muscles, I often think my left arm is way stronger than my right. Oh, I think I just flicked some off of my head. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to do this for a few minutes, so maybe I can start the whole kind of book review while I'm whisking my arm off. I like the honey in there. I really like the honey in there. Okay. I don't know. I got cathartic there for a minute and it got in the zone. Okay. So after I mix till combined, until well combined. Oh, I haven't done that yet. I haven't mixed till well combined. Okay. And I've had my eggs out for a while, so they've all been at, room temp. All right, I'm going to start putting the eggs in because I think that will help with the overall consistency. That's what eggs do. It binds. So I hate when it doesn't crack all the way. A little shell never hurt anybody, right? Okay. All right, let me get this first one mixed in and then see. When I said one at a time, and we'll see how we're doing with the texture. All right, so the other thing I did was I didn't use regular all-purpose flour. I used my kind of one-to-one, it's like a rice flour, but it can be a replacement for wheat. So I did that same thing though. I did took out the 2 tablespoons per cup. Okay, there's one. I'm still a little befuddled by the texture. I wonder if the honey is throwing off the... I mean, it shouldn't be, but maybe it's doing something to the butter? It's almost like something is curdled in here. And then... I mean, it smells great. So I'm thinking the butter is just not combining. Because it was room temp, but it wasn't technically softened. I don't know if that makes a difference. I have noticed in the past that it has made a smidge of a difference. So much liquid though, you know? I know the theory is like a pound of each ingredient or something of that nature, but we only put in 1 stick of butter, so I think the 1 stick, which is your half a cup, and then the Greek yogurt replaces the other for the rest of the pound, so to speak. Because Greek yogurt is also a replacement for eggs and for butter, so. Okay. No, I knew that was going to happen. Okay. Off she goes. I just got a whiff of that almond extract. Okay, I know I said I was going to start the book review and then I got sidetracked because of the texture. Okay, they did the eggs and now we're doing the extract. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/2 teaspoon of almond. That smells awesome. Okay. All right. Put those in there. I love having a big sink. It's the best. Okay, so next we're going to add in the flour mix and stir till just combined. So I don't know. It doesn't say anything about adding it in stages, but I think just because I'm doing it by hand, I want to, do it in stages. Okay. Now the other thing is the recipe I read for the flour substitute was for all-purpose flour. Now, do I feel like I shouldn't have taken it out and replaced it with cornstarch? Yeah, kinda. But, you know, it is what it is at this point. I might have to thicken it up. I'm assuming there's some sort of texture I'm looking for as far as pound cake goes. Since it is such a dense, it's almost like a bread. So I'm a little worried about the that part of it. Just a little. I'm really digging this honey aspect. It's giving it such a nice aroma. By all means, if you have cake flour, use it, of course. Not quite sure if they make cake flour in a gluten-free formula, but I'm guessing they have to. I don't know. I guess they don't have to. Let's see. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very thick. I kind of wish I knew what the texture of pound cake is supposed to be. So until just combined, so I probably already over whipped the poopy out of it. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a couple pinches, because you know how I am. I can't just leave it be. So a couple tablespoons back. Because rice flour, I believe, is such a light flour to begin with, you know? Oop, I'm just going to flick it everywhere. Yeah, I know I didn't close that. I'll get to it. Okay. Yeah. Surprisingly, I just like that a little better. All right, I want to taste it. Because I went a little light on the honey as well, so I just want to make sure it's... Although we are adding the cheesecake layer, so... Just try. I think I had, wow. That honey is really good in there. Really, 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 really good. Okay. I'm going to let this sit for a minute, just because I want to see how thick my cheesecake layer is going to be. I'm going to need this whisk, though. Can she get it over to the sink before it all drips on the floor? All right. So we're going to get talking about this book while I'm whisking my cream cheese filling. Okay. Whoa, don't fall. Okay. All right. So, I want to get rid of this too. Yeah, baby. All right. So in this, I have my 1 brick of cream cheese, my 1 egg, and my tablespoon of vanilla. And then we are going to whiskey. Ha ha ha, she says. I don't remember how I started it yesterday, but I used this same little trick for some sugar cookie mini cheesecake thingies. Maybe if I remember, I'll show you guys what they look like. Sorry. All right, so before I get started whisking, I'm going to show you the book. And, okay, keep in mind, my book selections are based on going to the lending libraries in my area and picking out a book. Sight unseen, reading the description a little bit, but not trying to judge a book by its cover. So this is the one I got. Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa See. S-E-E. I'm not done. We're about halfway through. But I will read you the back. In 19th century China, in a remote Hunan county, a girl named Lily, at the tender age of 7, is paired with a Lao Tong, or Old Same, in an emotional match that will last a lifetime. The Lao Tong, Snowflower, introduces herself by sending Lily a silk fan on which she has written a poem in Nushu, a unique language that Chinese women created in order to communicate in secret, away from the influence of men. As the years pass, Lily and Snowflower send messages on the fan and compose stories on handkerchiefs, reaching out of isolation to share their hopes, dreams, and accomplishments. They both endure the agony of foot binding and together reflect upon their arranged marriages, shared loneliness, and the joys and tragedies of motherhood. The two find solace developing a bond that keeps their spirits alive. When a misunderstanding arises, their deep friendship suddenly threatens to tear apart. Okay. So I don't even know if where I'm at is the part that tears them apart, but oh my gosh, is it getting good. Have you ever read a book that says so much to you, says so much about, or you can reflect a lot in it, or see a lot of what you feel or can associate with? Don't get me wrong, I cannot understand foot binding or arranged marriages, and the ritual that comes along with it is very long and intense, and I don't know how they do it, to be honest. But and they're young girls. Usually they start about 5 or 6. This particular girl got to wait till she was 7 for a very specific reason. And that has to do with the fact that not every Chinese girl has a Lao Tong or an Old Same. Basically what they're saying is this person has been your kind of soulmate your entire life and through all your lifetimes, And it's just like, really? I feel like, a lot of times when you connect with a person like that maybe you've just met, but it doesn't feel like it, That's kind of the same process, but not as, not as, I don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, there's many ups and downs to their Lao Tong so far, and it is all based on what one girl perceives the situation to be and the other girl knowing the truth, kind of. And I don't know if many people understand that theory, but I get it. So basically, I'm just whisking the crap out of this because it tends to get a little, again, texturally not pleasing to the eye until you do all the whiskey. It smells amazing. But right now it don't look so hot. But these girls, they are then paired with a third girl who is not Snowflower, but the other Lily's cousin, who's like a year younger than them. So she actually ends up foot binding along with them, and she starts at the right age where the other two girls start a year later. And by this time, they already have a matchmaker, and they're already planning for their marriages, and that's 6 and 7. I'm like, okay. Let me pick this up. Okay. I thought my most daunting task at 6 or 7 was playing Barbies or something. Dishes. Okay, I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. I might take a break with you for a second just so I can whisk this without much noise. But I'm going to get back to the book in just a second. Putting you on pause. All right. One thing I forgot was I did a few teaspoons. Really, they were just teaspoons. Nothing too crazy. Of powdered sugar. Because the lady that did the original recipe didn't use any sugar in hers. And somebody wrote, I put a little powdered sugar in my cheesecake mixture. So I think yesterday I did like 2 or 3. I'm going to see. I hate when that happens. All right. So once again, I'll show you. I'm going to taste it first. Now we got it all smoothed out. Buttery. I'm going to go one more little. So maybe 3. I think that's about what I used yesterday also. Yeah, a little more. Okay, that should be good. I'm still debating on how I'm doing this whole process. I'm debating on whether I'm swirling it into the pound cake, like on the top, because I want it to kind of cook. I'm not going to want it to like be gooey in the middle, So we'll see what happens. Let me get my spatula back. Man, I should have my phone on me when I'm doing these walks back and forth. I get credit for the steps. I just read Jordan sent it. Sinead O'Connor has passed away. Oh my gosh, this got so thick. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip from one thing to the next, but wow. Okay. I don't know the circumstances or what happened or anything like that, so. I just want to make sure it's sweet enough. I do think so. All right, so I'm going to just pour it around and around. All right. Oh, gosh, that's heavy. And yet there's still a lot in here. What do I do? All right, let me put a little more of the batter in there. I guess there's not as much as I thought. Let me put a little more in there. It's so hard to determine what you're doing, you know? When you're doing the recipe for the first time, you don't know what it looks like, you know? I guess we never knew back in the day what recipes look like either, unless you had the cookbook for it, you know, with the picture. But you didn't always get the instructional portion in pictures, you know, which always I thought would have been helpful, or at least a descriptor of like, it's supposed to look like pancake batter, or, you know, it's going to be a weird color, or, you know, things of that nature. Wow, I really did a number on my whisk. All right, so now we're going to want to get this. I don't know how to do it. Should I just going to kind of weave it through here a little bit. Nothing too fancy. Oh, you know what I don't know that would work, though. I have one of those injector things. The cheesecake might have been too thick, actually. But that would have been fun. Treated it like a big Twinkie, right? That's essentially what we're making, I guess. Because aren't Twinkies just pound cake? Or no, they're sponge cake, actually, I guess. I've never made one of those either, so maybe that's my next trick. Okay. This comes out so silky, too. I love the texture of it. Oh, I gosh, darn it. I did not mean to do that. That's no bueno, guys. I just got a big, massive hunk of the cheesecake part on the side of the pan. That actually makes quite a bit. When you're making them in individual little mini muffin size, for some reason it feels like a lot less. If that makes any sense whatsoever. All right. I'm not sure what to do as far as mixing it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sandwich it in the middle and hope for the best. How's that sound, guys? All right, now we're gonna go around and around. I'm just gonna hope that the pound cake comes up high enough that it covers that cheesecake part. I am like very into this today. I'm so quiet. Normally I'm yelling at the top of my lungs about stuff. And I'm going to get to that book in just a second. So this is going to take a long time to cook. So I'm going to probably put you on pause, obviously. But I'm going to go over the book for a little bit. Wow, there's a lot more in there than I thought. Holy moly. I'm going to just see if I can kind of just scrape that little bit off the side there. This thing is going to weigh more than a pound now that I put that cheesecake layer in the middle. Oh my goodness. All right, well, I did get a little bit of the regular cake part on there too. All right, not too bad. I think this side's worse. Okay. I'm wondering if I should kind of, I don't want to move the cheesecake around too much, but kind of just flatten out the top a little bit. There we go. Okay, guys. 325 oven for 60 to 80 minutes. Ours might take longer just because of the center. But we shall see. Let me. This thing's going to weigh it. It's going to be more than a pound, I have a feeling. All right. In she goes. Oh, actually not too bad. Where she stops, nobody knows. Okay, so we'll start out with the 60. Okay. So, yeah, this book has had me boo-hoo sobbing uncontrollably in so many sections. There's so many things that caught you off guard. I mean, I want to review it and I don't want to give it away all at the same time. That's how profound this book is so far. Like, I am befuddled by the amount of things these two girls go through before they even get married. I mean, before all of that. And they get married at 17, I think? She might have been 16. Pretty sure she was 17. But the benefits that came with her, because you're supposed to marry like classes of people, unless, of course, you have some, and this is where the whole foot binding thing comes in, unless you have some, what they call golden lilies, like your beautiful foot bindings were like perfectly done, and you have the smallest of feet, and that just baffles me. I just can't fathom dealing with something like that. I mean, they have to go through childbirth at a relatively young age, but like if you have a son first, you are higher ranked in your household than someone that had a girl first or only has girls, or the amount of sons you have also ranks you higher. So seeing her transformation and then seeing Snowflower's transformation, it's quite a feat to see. I have to give Snowflower both credit and query as to why, if they were old sames, she felt that she couldn't share some of her life with Lily. So in that sense, I'm a little perplexed at her, but I can't blame her. She's just a kid. She's just doing what she's told to do. Although I also feel like they had so many private conversations, just the two girls, that I feel like anything could have been said and nothing would have been, taken wrong. Now, on the other hand, if you look at it from the different perspective of Snowflower's point of view, she would have been worried that Lily couldn't understand her her the state of her position in the village, and with the way her house looks on the outside, and coming back to judging a book by its cover. Whoa, boy, did I not think this was that in depth and that so well written. So well written. Not that I didn't expect it to be well written. That came out wrong. I guess what I didn't think was that I would associate things that happened to me in my life to some of the things the girls went through. Don't get me wrong. I am not even anywhere close to saying I had anything like that happen to me. But when you can feel for the characters in the book and grasp some semblance of symbolism to you, it tends to make a very profound effect on you, to the point where I actually decided to do a book review on it. Am I qualified? No. I'm not an author, an English teacher, or anyone that even knows how to write really well. But I feel like I've read long enough in my lifetime to at least feel that I know what a good book is. I hope. That and the fact that it said New York Times bestseller on the top of it was another, But I also like my process of thinking that I was just going to go to the lending library and pick up a book. Like, I wasn't going to say I had to take one home with me, because some of them are just filled with kids' books, or although Magnus might like a kid's book. Or some I've been to have dictionaries and cookbooks in them, things like that. So the stipulation was the first real either nonfiction or fiction book that kind of caught my attention, because I'm judging a book by its cover. So that's why I'm doing this. Was I supposed to grab it and read it? That's in my head what I'm doing. And then if it ever gets somewhat bearable outside, I'll be able to walk Magnus to the lending library, and then maybe he can help pick out a book. I know it seems silly, but for some reason it seems to bond us together, because frankly, he doesn't care what words I'm using. I've been told they don't understand English. I think he just cares that I am taking the time to read him a story. And I'm reading it out loud, a lot of times through a big boo-hoo, because it's so, wow, this one is really getting me. I can only think of one other book right now, and I know that I've read quite a few that have really caught me off guard as far as the tears. Is Talk Before Sleep by Elizabeth Berg. She's my favorite author. She's from around here. Her books are just so, I love when I can get a visual of where my characters are or what they're doing, things of that nature. And that's really, it doesn't even have to be descriptive. It just has to be, I don't want to say flowing, kind of. But if it gets in a rhythm, I kind of find it more heart-tugging than just a lot of words. I guess it's the quality of the words you're using, not the quantity that I'm looking for. All right, so I think that covers it for about now. Let me tell you what page I'm on, and then I'll let you know better where we're going to be headed. I'm on page 130 of... she's got questions for discussion. Nice. I think there might be an epilogue. No. So about 258. So I'm really going to go over some of these questions and maybe go over them with you next time. I'm going to put y'all on pause, get a drink. We're going to be here for a while. So settle in, especially since one, it itself takes 60 to 80 minutes. But to have a cheesecake layer in there might really be putting us over the top. All right, guys. I'll be back with you in a little bit. Sit tight. All right, guys. We're back. That took, so I cooked it for the 80 minutes, and then I did an additional 10 minutes because the cheesecake portion still seemed a little gooey, which probably now, thinking back, probably was just if I had let it set, you know. So she turned out pretty good. I mean, she's pretty hefty, though. Look it! Isn't that beautiful? Eee! All right, so I think what I'm going to probably have to do is go around it with a knife just to get it loosened up from the edges. I don't know. Did I say that I rested at the 10 minutes? I rested at the 10 minutes. It's still very warm. And I'm worried that the directions I read about, you know, let it cool and pan for 10 minutes before moving to a wire rack to cool completely. I don't know if that means in the pan, because it doesn't talk about another time to, you know, remove it. So I have to say I'm a little nervous. And I'm worried that the cream cheese section is going to separate from the... So the top essentially will separate from the bottom. I don't know, guys. I'm a little concerned about flipping it over. Because it feels so heavy. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. This does not seem... Why am I not flipping it onto a plate? That's why I'm saying I wonder if I should let it... All right, guys. It's loose. All right, I didn't do the best job flouring, but she's out. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. All right, well, should I just eat the crumbs off the counter? I would want to create some sort of... Look at me eating off the counter. I don't know. Do I want like a frosting or a drizzle of some sort? Oh, you know what I could do? I'm gonna let it cool the rest of the way. I'm going to sample it. I will. I'm going to sample it right now. I just want to take a little itty bitty bite because I don't want to ruin the aesthetic. But I don't know where to go. I'll go into the center here. Wow. That has such good flavor. Okay, so I'm going to let it cool the rest of the way. I know I promised you guys pictures from last week's episode of the cobbler and things, but let's just face it. The cobbler was delicious, don't get me wrong. But visually speaking, putting it into a bowl with some ice cream, not appealing in the least. I did post it on my story today. Cobbler was really good. I like the butter pecan cake with that. And then, the chicken was awesome. It was really good. And then we had it again the second day, and I would say it was even better the second day. And then I'm going to turn it into something else. So it's in the freezer right now. And maybe next episode, I'll be turning it into something else. I'm not going to explain what it is yet. But I have a feeling I was supposed to let it cool the rest of the way in the pan. So if you're making this, please feel free to do that. I think other than just closing out the show and thanking everybody for watching, participating, and being just so supportive, check back. Follow me on Facebook at Kristen Haas, KristinHass. And you can follow me on Instagram at The Best Blessed Life for pictures. Hopefully this time I will actually be able to give you some pretty cool pictures. Visually speaking right now, it's pretty cute. So I think with that being said, the book is getting really good. While I was waiting for the cake to be done, I got through like 20 more pages. So hopefully I'll be able to give you an update next week as well on the whole. Hopefully I'll be finished on the whole book. And I will let you know whatever kind of topping I decide to use. I'm thinking that brown butter, brown sugar, brown butter frosting that I made for one of those other episodes. Okay, with that being said, I just have to say, have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self. And please live your best blessed life. Thanks for watching.